I've just developed an absolute love of arts and crafts. I love the fact that you can just use your imagination and just create whatever you want. I'll be demonstrating my Pott'd Pro Top Tip to help you take your clay crafting to the next level.
I saw this and I was like, hang on a minute, she's a professional.
Yeah.
Turns out she's not. Mate, these are just making my day.
Did you think we were ad hocing this whole thing? Oh my God. Outside of work, I was suffering with quite a bit of anxiety at the time. It's definitely something I still kind of struggle with.
So for me, there's a hack with confidence. Well, hello and welcome to Pott'd Cast. This is the world's #1 air dry clay and creativity podcast. And we are here to share inspiration, tips and tricks for your air dry clay creations and provide a little clay ball shaped respite from everyday life. I'm joined today by my co-host and one of Potted's master creators. Her name is Kit, AKA The Making Box. You may have seen her on Instagram and TikTok. She is the hands behind some of the internet's most viral air dry clay videos and is an all-round lovely person and a source of inspiration for everybody here at Pott'd.
Thank you.
Kit, welcome to Pott'd Cast.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
We have a jam-packed show for you today.
So I'll be answering your burning air dry clay questions.
I'm going to be sharing some stories from behind the scenes here at Pott'd and giving you an idea of what it's been like building the business.
And I'll be demonstrating my Pott'd Pro Top Tip to help you take your clay crafting to the next level.
So Kit, actually, I'd love to start and just hear a little bit about how you began your journey in this air dry clay world.
So I started a couple of years ago, actually, and it's kind of snowballed. I've just developed an absolute love of arts and crafts in general and pottery specifically. I absolutely love working with air dry clay. I love the fact that you can just use your imagination and just create whatever you want. So my mum made me a box of all these arts and crafts things from when I was about 3. I had a making box, which is where the making box comes from.
It's time for my favorite section, which is our masterpieces from the Pottedverse. And this is where we're going to share our favorite creations from the Pott'd community. So Kit, what have you got for us?
Our first masterpiece comes from Maria from Ukraine, and she has made the most incredible lucky cat. So she says, this is a quote from Maria, that she created this cat as she's obsessed with cats and she doesn't have any at home at the moment, so she decided to make one. She's also dreaming of traveling to Japan one day, so this cat will be reminding her of this dream until it finally comes true. She said the experience of making it was amazing, loved the process so much, and couldn't wait until the clay dries so she could start painting it. I am obsessed with this. I think it looks incredible. The paint job is unbelievable. I think it looks so good.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was going and having a look through at what people have created this month, and I saw this and I was like, hang on a minute, she's a professional.
Yeah.
Turns out she's not.
It's insane. It looks so, so good.
Maria, thank you so much.
We love it.
It's amazing.
Looks so, so good.
By the way, if people wanted to create this themselves, that's something like this, should we do a tutorial for that maybe or something?
I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to have a go. Yeah, I wouldn't say that that's a beginner piece personally, but I would absolutely love to try and recreate that and make a tutorial for it.
So our second masterpiece this month comes from Jessica in New York. She has made this incredible little pup-themed trinket dish. She said, oh, that is actually inspired by our dog Maxie.
Aww.
And my rings go on her ears. Before
Great, functional art, I love it.
Functional as well.
I love it.
There was a downside, unfortunately.
Okay.
Jessica said that, unfortunately, Oliver the cat got very jealous that Maxie had his own trinket dish. And then she actually sent in a picture of Maxie and Oliver fighting in her apartment.
So she didn't decide to make one for Oliver?
No, for some reason Oliver seems to be being punished. I'm not sure why.
So I love pet portraits in clay and everything like that. I think they're so much fun. And I love the fact that she's made it functional.
Yeah, my favourite bit about it is the paw prints.
Yeah, the paint looks amazing as well. Really detailed. Yeah, so our third masterpiece is from Pauline in the UK. And this one is particularly special because it's actually her first ever potted creation. She's made a plant pot and an incense stick holder. My first thought is the plant pot looks absolutely amazing, especially for a first creation. And I love the addition of the butterfly on the side.
So this was actually posted in the Pott'd Facebook group.
Oh, nice.
Which is growing like crazy.
Great.
And it's a really nice place for people to gather and share ideas and inspiration. And people were very proud. So Pauline shared this, this is my first 2 makes. I couldn't believe, again, it was the first time.
Yeah, that looks so good. The butterfly as well, the detail on that. It looks amazing.
Our next section is questions from the community. And again, a lot of these questions are popping up on the Facebook group where people are asking each other for tips. And so we've got 3 questions that we're going to cover for you today. Kit, what have we got?
And Crystal has asked if the white base coat is always necessary or if you can just paint straight onto the clay. I would always say that the white base coat is necessary. It protects the clay, especially on the bottom, so it stops kind of like any clay residue getting on any surfaces you're putting it on. But it also means that when you get to decorate and add on the colors, that they're way bolder, way brighter, and kind of like way punchier, and it's a much easier application. So I get that it's a really tempting step to miss out on when you just want to get painting, get decorating, but it doesn't take long, it dries fairly quickly, and I do always recommend doing that first.
Yeah, don't try and cut corners like me.
No, exactly.
Do your base coat.
Exactly. You need to do the base coat. It's very important.
Our second question comes from Lily, and she has asked something which I know is a very hot topic. It's something that we've all had the unfortunate experience of. So what she wants to know is, how do we minimize the risk of our clay cracking during the drying process?
First thing I would say is to make sure before you're rolling out the clay or doing anything with it that you really work it and you get rid of any potential air bubbles or anything like that, because if there are air bubbles trapped in the clay when it dries, that's a risk of them cracking afterwards. The second main tip that I would say is reduce the amount of water that you use. It can be tempting to use loads, I get it, because it can help it make it smoother way faster, but too much water will lead to cracking. As well, not making any areas too thin, and so it has to bear a load of weight onto it. So I like to keep anything I'm making 0.5 centimetre or thicker, personally.
To avoid tears.
Yeah, exactly.
And then getting out the air bubbles.
So you would take it out of the packaging and just kind of knead it like dough for a while, and just really work at it. And then you can roll it out, and you can often see on your flat surface there might be like a little bump, and you can either push it out with your fingers or you can pierce it with one of the tools, release the air, and then spread it out essentially and blend it together. But it is one thing that you always want to check for before you're kind of like going into properly making your piece.
Right. Very good tip. I've seen something where people kind of like get the clay and like slam it down. Is that a real thing, or is that just?
I love to do that. I think that's great, but whatever works for you. Like you can roll it into a ball and kind of like hit it on the sides, or you can slam it down. You can like roll it out with your rolling pin and kind of just spend. It's just a step that's not worth rushing, just to make sure it's properly worked and it's ready to be made into something essentially. So Sarah has asked what's the best surface to work on, and that she's seen wooden tables but wants to know if she might damage the surface or what she should work on. So I personally would always recommend just like a solid flat surface that's something that's treated and covered. So you wouldn't want kind of like untreated wood, as it could potentially stain. You would want something that's treated, or kind of like a marble or granite or something like that you can easily just wipe clean.
And what about people, if they have got like an untreated wood table or something we'll take care of, like is anything put down first?
You can get like plastic mats and things like that, which would always work. You essentially just want anything that's just, you can wipe clean, like a laminate or something like that.
I've seen people put in what looks like baking paper down.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah?
I've done that in for a lot of my creations. Yeah, baking paper works.
Okay. If only someone had like invented something that you could buy that would actually solve that problem as well. Oh well, maybe one for the future. Next section is our potted prize, and we are actually going to be giving away one of our brand new, not even released yet, and limited edition sweaters, and we are going to show it to you now. Joe, if you can have the sweater, please. So have a look at that beauty. It's not even been released yet, and when it has been released, it's going to be sold out very quickly. So you have the chance to win one of these sweaters in the size of your choice. It says, "Don't hate, create," which I love. Thank you, Joe. For the chance to win it, all you need to do is leave a comment wherever you're watching and listening. What was your first ever air dry clay creation and why? And the best answer will receive a Don't Hate, Create potted limited edition, special, super comfortable, amazing sweater. And we'll be announcing the winner in our Facebook group.
So this section is our potted pro tip, where we share a tip or technique to help take your crafting to the next level. So I often notice people struggle to connect two pieces of clay together. So you've got your base piece of clay, and then you add your side, and you've slip scored and joined it all together. However, it can sometimes feel not as kind of like secure or sturdy as you want it to be.
Yeah.
So it is normally a good idea to reinforce it from the inside. So this is for like if you're making like anything that has different sides.
Yes.
It's always a good idea to reinforce it with an extra bit of clay on the inside.
Okay, cool. Show us how it's done.
Essentially, you've got your two sides like this. You want to roll your clay out to be like a long sausage shape like that. you want to get your brush and wet it slightly and wet the inside. And then you want to do the same thing to your other piece of clay. And then you can just gently press it onto the inside like this. And then you're just going to want to work it and blend on both sides. So you can just slowly pull it down and then hold the side you're reinforcing and push it up. So it will look like that. And then you can tidy it all up with water. And then you can feel confident that your 2 walls of clay are secure and not going to budge.
Amazing. I'll have a little look.
I can turn my mat. So,
oh, wow, yeah. So it's properly like blended in.
Yeah, properly blended in. You wouldn't know that it was like added on.
Like I always get worried, like you get somewhere good. I've got the base and the wall and it looks all right. And then I'm a bit actually like nervous to go and add something else in.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it seems like you take a step back.
Yeah,
before
I can see
it
that.
go forwards.
It can often feel like that because you might like knock the side and it will then make it like wonky. You feel like you've got it perfect or like add fingerprints to it or like, you know, but this is a step I would recommend. It can often feel like that, but like you can always go back and reshape it, re-smooth it out. It's really easy to work with.
Now it's time for some news from inside Pott'd. And we've got something pretty exciting which we want to share with you. And that exciting thing has been sitting here in plain sight the whole time. So we were talking before about what surfaces to work on. And I was thinking it would be great if somebody had thought about that and produced a product maybe that could be used to solve that issue. Well, guess what? That's right here. This is our very own brand new, just developed potted craft mat. So these are going to be available to buy soon. We'll let you know when. But yeah, it's the perfect kind of like surface that's going to be stable when you're working on it and clay won't stick to it and it can take all kind of damage and it's easy to clean the paint off and everything. And it's got some very cool design here from Emily, our product designer as well. So craft mats are going to be dropping soon. Keep an eye out. Kit, I wanted to ask you something. So we reached out to our Pott'd community and we asked for ideas and themes that they'd like to see discussed. As you know, one of Potted's brand values is positive mental health. The way Pott'd actually began was a way to stop spending so much time with screens and spending time with other people in a relaxing environment and kind of like flexing creative muscles, which you don't get to do enough of.
Yeah.
One of the issues that seemed to come up quite a lot was this issue of confidence, imposter syndrome. Along this journey, maybe even up to now, is there any times when you felt a little bit nervous about it? Have you had that bit of imposter syndrome?
I feel like all the time, and it's definitely something I still kind of like struggle with.
I would say that you actually come across as a very confident person. And so it just goes to show, I guess, that from the outside, you can't really tell, you know, how people are feeling.
Yeah, definitely.
So from my experience, obviously starting Pott'd, Pott'd I started 3 years ago. And it's actually been an interesting experience for me as well. So it's very similar to you starting something brand new, not really being sure if you'd be any good at it. And you're constantly coming up against things going wrong. And you're always looking out and thinking, are people judging what I'm doing? Am I doing a good enough job? So for me, like there's a hack with confidence. And the hack is that the more you are confident, the more confident you are, right? Okay. So if you imagine, so here's a situation we can probably all relate to, is going into like a social situation. So it's like a party or something and you don't know a lot of people there. If you go into that situation and you behave anxiously or behave like you don't have confidence, think about your body language, you're going to be like closed up a little bit, you're going to be like glancing around, avoiding eye contact. That then sends the message to everybody else that you're nervous and lacking a bit of confidence. So it tends to become like a cycle, a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I'll try to put on my positive, open body language like this. I'll put on a smile on my face, even though I'm not feeling it. The way your body is will impact the way your mind is. So if you start acting confident with the body, then the mind starts to follow.
Yeah, you'll
and it's like, oh, maybe you are a confident person.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
So that's the first thing. Really, and the second thing is everybody else in there now sees a super confident person walking in and they think, wow, that person's doing fine. Like they're the kind of person that maybe I can go and talk to and I'll feel comfortable around because they seem so at ease. And of course, when people treat you like that, it reinforces the behavior in yourself. The more you are confident, the more confident you are.
Love it.
So that brings us to the end of our very first episode of Pott'd Cast.
And if you would like to be involved in the next episode, then please do let us know. Email us at hello@getpotted.com with the subject line crazy about clay and share your ideas or comments with us.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
You.
See you on the next one.
Bye.
Boys are learning a lot about clay today, aren't you? Can we do a bit of powder? No, but use a paintbrush.